Well, hello and a warm welcome back, viewers, and to those who are new here, a big thanks for taking the risk on this rather small channel. Just in case you decide to then move on to something else and wondering what the hell I'm waffling on about. So we continue with our series of UK chain restaurants. Alas, the general consensus and perception of such eateries are indeed they are mediocre and only continue to add towards the growing stereotype that British cuisine is rather bland, or that you have to be in somewhere such as pricey Mayfair or St James's in London to enjoy anything remotely interesting. Well, I like to try to show you there are some exceptions to that rather harsh rule. So here we are at a typical branch of Hawksmoor, and as I am a lazy so-and-so, it is the nearest one to me, which is just across the River Thames over here in Canary Wharf, London Docklands. Now, I did cover Hawksmoor in the past, the original one that is in Spitalfields, back when I was a much smaller channel with only 200 or so subscribers, so I will try to avoid retreading old ground. The difference tonight, or this evening, is that we will try to find out how Hawksmoor have become a shining example of a growing chain yet still offers rewarding, fresh and credible cuisine. They've expanded beyond their London core operations with restaurants dotted up and down the UK, and have even gone overseas to as far as Dublin, New York City and Chicago, so surely they must be doing something right. Well, let's try and find out a little bit more, so I shall see you all inside by the table. Normally when I go into these restaurants, especially chain restaurants, they are generally dimly lit, but today is an exception, even though it's 10 to 7. Oh, actually, as I say, the sun's now crept out of the way, now it's dark again. And I hope you see me okay. So we've got just ordered a soft drink for tonight's meal. No wine or alcohol, because I don't want it to skew the pricing of the whole meal itself. It's all about the food in this one. We've been presented with a rather large menu, all in one sheet, so I will give you a little whistle-stop tour. And welcome to Hawksmoor in Canary Wharf. So this, remember, it's just a representative experience of a typical branch of Hawksmoor. There's nothing particularly exceptional about the menu. It's all going to be uniform up and down the country. Imagine you've seen a million Hawksmoor videos anywhere, as pretty much every vlogger out there has covered this restaurant at least once. I'm just trying to put a little bit of a spin to the whole thing, as it's a chain restaurant after all. Okay, so there you go. Just scan through the offerings there. I'm going to go for, say, middle of the road option, so not the cheapest and not the most expensive either. I just want you to give you a good taste of what they do. So those fixed menus that you see, 30 quid for 3 courses, etc., they are only available during the daytime, and now I'm in dinner service, so it's going to be full price and it's going to be off the a la carte. And a quick visit of the wine menu in a lovely nifty booklet. It's not leather bound, it's kind of somewhat almost like a rubbery material, perhaps more durable, to handle the bustling service typical in a busy evening in Hawksmoor. So there you go, just your quick scan there if you're into your tipples. It's quite extensive as well, so feel free to fast forward if this is not your thing. And just for a bit of YouTube shock value, the most expensive bottle they have in this branch is Chateau Margaux, 1995, £1,400. Salt and pepper pots, of course, but hopefully I won't be needing those, as I trust the cooks will do a good job with the seasoning. And of course, bonus points for having what I expect at this price level. You have linen napkins, but an increasingly rare thing to have in a chain restaurant. So, but it's regardless of chain or not, it's the price level that ascertains whether you get these extra little touches or not. Sorry, I'm making a little bit of a dog's ear of this, or pig's ear even. I'll fix that in a second. So I just wanted to make those little observations as it's a chain restaurant. What separates this from all the others out there. Liking this table as well. It's a lovely sort of gold, bronze, not bronze, say brass, almost gold leaf effect underneath, and then you've got this gloss underneath. So these little touches just elevates it from your standard run-of-the-mill chain restaurant. No wine in this video, as I mentioned earlier, but I will be getting back to normal service in perhaps the next video or so. So on behalf of Hawksmoor and Canary Wharf, cheers, cheers. And to kick off proceedings, simple trio of Jersey Rock oysters. I decided to go for a very simple version of the oyster, as local as possible. There are nearer ones to London, but Jersey are known for exceptionally fresh water, well, clean water, and that will impact the quality and the taste of the oyster. And on the side, I've been given a little bit of Tabasco and mignonette, if that's the right pronunciation. So I'm just going to be very sparing on the lemon, just a touch. There we go. Dedicated cutlery for our oyster. Another reason why I wanted to showcase this dish. Fair enough, you can get this in Mayfair. However, Hawksmoor takes produce, quality produce, and the supply of them very seriously. Here we go. You can taste the seas surrounding Jersey, the Pacific waters that is, in one mouthful. Yeah. Fantastic. I'm just going to actually down the rest of this water. Yeah, that's so good. Okay, so this is going to be a bit of a short and sweet segment. I've only got 2 more oysters left to go through. So, let's have a little bit of the mignonette. I really hope I pronounced that right. I should have checked beforehand. It's words I don't use often in my day-to-day vocabulary. That is why. Just enough. There you go. I'm not going to down it. I don't want to risk spillage and ruin my nifty little napkin. Finely chopped shallots. What I imagine is red wine vinegar, so a bit of a sweet and sour. It keeps going on there. Not overpowering the oyster either. Let's finish this juice off. Now, do I sully this with a bit of Tabasco, or should I continue to keep it simple? Yeah, no, you know what, I'm going to leave the Tabasco aside and just have it in its natural form. Maybe a little bit of pepper, cracked pepper in there. There you go. So there you have it. And behold, course number 2, second starter of the evening. So this is ash-baked beetroot with pickled fennel, horseradish and pumpkin brittle. I'm going to be honest with you, I've got my menu on my phone next to me just in case, because my memory is like a sieve. But there's quite a handful of ingredients in there. But I love the colour, looks very fresh. And let's have a little dig around for a good mix of all the different items, components in here. A sense of pepperiness and sweet from the beetroot. I cannot locate the pumpkin brittle, whatever that is. So anyone more knowledgeable than I am in the comments, please share with me what that is. I could have, of course, Googled it myself, but I would like to learn from my viewers. Sometimes it's much more fun. And another, a little bit more salad, this one. It tastes like a lovely garden with naturally growing produce, and you just taking the bite out of it. Splendid. Good generous portion as well, salad. So it's not one of those light, dainty salads that leaves you completely unsatisfied. It's got a fair amount of substance as well as the flavour. There is certainly a peppery heat in there. It makes itself known as on the tail end of each mouthful. Beetroot is quite pungent, quite strong. The ingredients, of course, are exceptionally fresh. There's no way it's come out of a fridge or freezer, let alone cooked off site, which many chain restaurants are guilty of. I enjoy the fact that the beetroot is at a more room temperature, not as if it's been sat in the fridge for an extensive amount of time. You generally just get a bit more of a natural flavour. Things taste better when you get it up to room temperature. Same with wine as well. There are some little crunchy elements in there, which I imagine they are the pumpkin brittle, perhaps seeds. I just feel that these videos aren't quite so complete without a little bit more history and anecdotes thrown in, even though I did already cover the origins of the first Hawksmoor in my earlier video. And as for this particular branch in Canary Wharf, well, you could say it's rather unique, but then again, you could say the same about all the branches. So set up on a 2,000-ton floating pavilion, which was towed through the River Thames back in 2021 before being permanently docked here in Wood Wharf. The floating pavilions, there are two of them in fact, all play a key part in Canary Wharf's concept of a 15-minute city, and that is all your local amenities are within short travelling distance, and thus liberating local residents from being dependent from day-to-day public and private transportation. Hawksmoor started out somewhat with far more modest ambitions, and even with such modest goals in mind, there were still challenges. Will Beckett and Hugh Gott both decided that London needed better steak and kicked off the movement by launching the first Hawksmoor on the site of a former Turkish restaurant, using nothing but the finest furnishings available to them on eBay. The story goes that the landlord of the building also happens to own a rather surly nightclub on the basement level, and one night the Metropolitan Police were hastily called in to engage in what Hawksmoor recall as a rather epic street brawl on Commercial Street, resulting from what I can imagine a rather boozy Russian-themed evening from the aforementioned nightclub. The day before the grand opening, the head chef went missing, and even to this day there's been no contact with such individuals since. So for any customers left who were not put off or scared off by the fact there was a recent vodka-induced fracas and there is a missing head chef, their faith in Hawksmoor was repaid in a rather infamous inaugural menu, which consisted of nothing more of a few gin-based drinks and a bowl of nuts. The rest, you could say, is history. Okay, so the waiting staff have just given me another set of tools. So, fork, of course, and your standard issue steak and knife, but it looks rather good. Good shape, serrated blade, of course, and should make this steak rather effortless to eat. And this spoon isn't for dessert, by the way. This is to extract the bone marrow. So quite a standout piece for that Hawksmoor have to offer here. So it's going to be a little bit of a wait, as it is a fairly sizable piece of steak, and also they have to rest the beef before it gets served out. That's just the way how it's done, the proper way. So I'm happy to wait, knowing that the end results are going to be worthwhile. This is a 13-ounce or 400-gram cut of ribeye from a Longhorn or British Longhorn beef. This breed of cattle is the type of beef that got the founders of Hawksmoor so excited that they decided to open their first restaurant. So it must be pretty exceptional. Lovely char, but it's not all about just the char, it's about the content inside the meat itself. Ooh, that's. I just love the feel of the bounce of the
And
beef.
just seal it off with like a crown cap, like on the beers, like they put the crown cap on it. The yeast then feeds on
Hardly any efforts with the knife. And this is quite a big mouthful.
carbon dioxide and alcohol.
Superb, absolutely satisfying, succulent,
There's no sugar remaining.
very tender. I'm trying not to get too overexcited about the whole thing, and just to balance things out. The plate is moving around a little bit, which is slightly irritating, but
Other than the fine wine. So it's bottled under pressure.
another piece.
Because the wine is already sparkling when it's
Oh, delectable. Grilled on the charcoal grill. They use molten sea salt, so sea salt flakes to season the beef. No need to touch the salt and pepper shakers whatsoever. Plenty going on, plenty of impact. I've also show you, a little side of buttered English greens or some cabbage, just to counterbalance the richness of the beef. The marrow.
so that everything gets fermented out. Okay. And so at the end you have maybe not more than 6.
It looks like some kind of parsley crumb on the top there as garnish.
Often lower.
Some chopped shallots as well. Not chopped, forgive me. Slow cooked onions as well to accompany the marrow.
Okay, delicious. Not necessarily. It's more like a stylistic choice.
We may have to dig deeper, as it's just mainly the onion on the top.
Somewhere around.
Now let's just get the fork to help out a little bit. Dig deep with it. Here we go. The marrow is gelatinous, but surprisingly not overwhelmingly rich or salty or anything like that. It's quite mild to the palate. But a good side show to accompany the steak. I deliberately avoided ordering any chips or potatoes, anything stodgy, as there's a big hunk of steak here. 400 grams, 13 ounces. Yeah, more than plenty. The marbling of the beef is noticeable. Lots of very buttery, you can almost Wagyu like. The longhorn cow, the English longhorn that is a rare breed, but few farmers have specialised in this breed, famed for its high fat content and therefore lots of flavour and exceptional texture. If I'm being a little bit fussy, perhaps a little bit too much salt on the steak for my liking, and I do like salt, but the true flavour of the beef is there. As I touched upon natural flavours, Hawksmoor aim to get the best produce they can afford, and also, as in, even though it is expensive here, it could be a lot more. However, they believe that keeping the supply chain as simple as possible means you get the food directly to your plate in better shape than had it done through normal means, especially oysters. They shellfish, they don't travel well, so you want it to arrive from sea to your plate quickly. I would be very surprised if there is any freezer on site in this restaurant. I just don't see the need for it. This beef is so tender. A little bit more cabbage. I'm going to extract what's left of the bone marrow. I'm getting towards the bottom of it. Perhaps I'll just place on top of the beef and have it all in one go. The marrow and the beef together tastes absolutely stupendous. I've never used that word before in my videos, but I've said it. I don't want to say much, I just want to eat, really, but conscious this is a video. Well, I have waffled on enough, so I'm going to spend the rest of the dish on my own, and I'll see you in a little while for the wrap up, so try not to be too long. So there you have it. That was a typical brunch experience at a not so typical UK chain restaurant, and I got to add not so typical cut of steak. That was pretty exceptional. I hope they carry on serving that longhorn cut of beef. Anyway, I digress. That was another piece of the jigsaw puzzle, and making up towards a much more positive and promising view of the UK restaurant or chain restaurant scene. So where do we go from here? I did mention the word positive, but alas, the next video won't be as much so. It's more of a story of how it all started rather so well. Then we beg the question, how did it start going all wrong? So thanks again for watching, all folks. I look forward to seeing you again in the next video. So until that time, you all take care now.